Hello guys, so I'm back and I am here to now work on basically my uh, community website. So what we'll be building today is basically we'll be trying to build a website which is basically for the community, specifically the Gradingo community, and the goal here is to basically go ahead and create some sort of a place where like people can hang out and look at the the timings of the streams. Also basically get an idea as to like who are the people who are like communicating the most in the community. See, like after my recent experience with the interest from a lot of budding programmers, I thought it would be a good idea. It would be a good idea to start something from scratch and basically build use all these cool front end technologies like React, Typescript, and Webpack to build a front end, and then we will build a back end for this API using something like ASP.NET Core, which will be just like for getting the data, getting those things like this, the timings and like all that information that we will store in the database. So this is the plan, and basically what we are going to do here in this plan is basically we are going to start building this website from scratch. Cool. Nice to see you, Brandon, around. Thanks for joining me. So yeah, I thought like it would be a good idea to first because we are seeing a lot of participation from a lot of members in the community. So I thought it would be a very good idea to first build our community website together as a community, and then basically from there we will take this and scale it up to add things like Discord server and all other things. So we'll start from scratch. We are starting from scratch, and we are over the period of time trying to go ahead and build a full-fledged community of people working together to learn, to share ideas, and basically come up with like cool things. For now, like for quite some time, I'm gonna put my project on the EduMeet to like only for the weekends. So I'll just basically will try to make short progress every day on this community website, and then towards the end of the weekend, when I have like more bigger chunk of time, I'll devote all that time and stream while building the EduMeet profile or the EduMeet website. So that's the plan. I think I think like it would be quite helpful for everybody to just like learn these things as well as we build together. And one thing that I would like to clarify is it's been like almost a very long time that I have written any front end code. My job requires me to write mostly backend. So I would have to rely on the reference and this documentation quite a bit extensively, because it's been quite some time that I've set up these this like TypeScript, Webpack, and React. So I don't remember, and the JavaScript ecosystem like moves very fast, right? So there is the cadence is not most of the enterprise software. It's all community driven. So there are like huge contributions, and they basically start very fast. So they move very fast, and it's like you have to constantly keep on referring to the documentation to be able to make any progress. So without wasting any time, let me just go ahead and outline our plan. What's going to like how we are going to build it, just so that like we have a very good idea as to what things we can expect. Okay, so where is my labs whiteboard? I want to see my whiteboard. Wow. Did I see a whiteboard? Admin, calendar compliance, forms, Excel, my analytics, Power Automate, PowerPoint, security, SharePoint to do. Oh wow, they removed the whiteboard altogether from this. Why would they do it? Why would they remove the whiteboard? Oh crap. Okay, never mind. I think I can use something else. So there is some product by Google as well, which is I can use that one. Jamboard. Okay. Get started. Perfect. Let me just quickly go ahead and start a new Jamboard here. And what I'm gonna do is try to provide some idea how we are going to build it. So the goal here is like fairly straightforward. We will have this would be our front end, right? So this is our front end, which is just like FE. I'll write very simple. And what this front end would be like, it would be a static React app, nothing fancy here. Then we will have like some sort of a backend around here. This will be our backend. Now backend would be basically interacting with our data store, which is going to be some sort of a database. I mean, we can have a SQL or a NoSQL database. I haven't planned it. Today we will just scaffold the project, and we will eventually grow it and basically scale it up in a little bit better format. But so far, like, my plan is to just have a simple thing. Hey, Flashy Singh, how are you doing, man? I have approximately around. I mean, I've been writing code since I was in like school, grade 6. I've been like writing code for now almost like 17 to 18 years. 15 something I remember very clearly, but I've been playing with things on and off. But like as a professional software developer, I have been writing code for around 11 years. I got my first job in 2009 as an engineer. So that's how long I've been writing code. Cool. So what we are doing here is basically we are going to go ahead and build this backend using some sort of a SQL or a NoSQL database. I haven't finalized that yet. This is going to be our front end. This will talk to the backend, and then basically it will get the data and return back, right? So this is going to be our like simple. So in today's session, what we are going to do is we are going to scaffold this front end. This front end is going to be a React and basically application. We are going to write it using Typescript. We can write it using JavaScript as well, but I think like Typescript is a little bit better because it has a strong type, and basically you can when you transpile your application, a lot of things get covered. A lot of errors are basically filtered out because of like it forces you to write a strongly typed code. So that's my rationale behind this. Then basically we will have Typescript, and then we will transpile this Typescript using Webpack. We will pack stuff using Webpack. So this is going to be our technology stack. Eventually this thing we are going to put this in like we are going to use AWS for hosting this onto, like, because this is going to be just a static website, we can host it on an AWS S3 bucket, right? So that like S3 buckets are like mostly very cost effective. You don't have to pay a lot of money because of the fact that these are just static files. There is no compute involved. All that the AWS does is basically it just serves those static files, the JavaScript and HTML files, to the browser. There is nothing in terms of compute. That's one thing. The other thing is basically with S3 and this kind of approach, we can have a CDN. There is a CDN from AWS itself, which is known as CloudFront. So basically we can make it load faster because all this content will be distributed to these edge nodes on the CDN. So if let's say if you are someone who's visiting from US, if we run a classical server, what would happen is basically the application would be served from the server where it's where we have provisioned the server in whatever region. The server could be located somewhere in Asia or maybe Europe. So that would be like a long latency kind of process. But if we use this CDN based approach, what will happen is all this content will be distributed across edge nodes throughout the globe in all the Amazon data centers. So if you are someone visiting from America or let's say Canada, what will happen is you will get the content from your local data center rather than just making a round trip through the entire thing. Yeah, that's would be. Will you be using Route 53? Not really, because I think, as far as I remember, Route 53 I'm not sure though, but I have to look into it. My understanding of Route 53 is Route 53 is a what do you call it? Domain registrar, right? So you can register your domains. As far as I remember, I think that's the the product specification. Yeah, it's a DNS system, so I don't need to do this because I already have a domain. We already have, like, I have this domain, gradingo.com, which I have been, like, I have been an owner of since maybe last 2-3 years. I bought it like somewhere, I don't remember specifically when I bought it, but it's like it's a domain that I have with me since, like, maybe more than a year now. So we will not be using Route 53 because we don't need a DNS system. We will still rely on the DNS system from the domain registrar where I bought this from. But I think like this thing is good enough for us to get started. And I don't see like any specific performance benefits as well in terms of using Route 53, because all this DNS system, if I am building like a huge kind of like system of connected things, then I might use Route 53, because the local name resolution would be faster if these things talk to each other rather than going to a public DNS, but or a public name server. But here, like, it's most of the traffic is like, it's just static website sites, static files being served from the S3 bucket. So I think it would be like simpler for me to not use that kind of thing. So that's the plan. So without any like wasting any time, we will just simply get started. And first things first, what we will do is basically we will scaffold an application using our like TypeScript thingy. So what we will do is basically we'll start we will scaffold a default application. So let me just go ahead and open a new terminal. And I'll go here. And what we are going to do from this one is basically we are going to come, and let me just open my code location where I save my code. Development. Let's save the code. And by the way, guys, like I'm also going to create a GitHub repository for this one to be able to like make the code publicly available to all of us, just so that like we can go ahead and so I'll just come back here and I'll create a new repository. What we'll call is basically Gradingo community slide, right? And what we'll do is basically the website I'll make it a public repository. Create. Alright, so now that I have had this thing, I'll just create a open PowerShell window here, and let's get started by scaffolding a simple application by just building a simple React.js application here. What we are going to do is basically we will just scaffold, like there is I think I already have npm installed. Let me see. Yep, I do have node and npm. So what we will do is we will use something called as like a templating thing, which is like npx create react app, and we will say community site. I'm not sure whether it's going to use JavaScript or TypeScript, but we might have to do some extra setup in terms of switching from the JavaScript to the TypeScript. But it's gonna take some time to load the packages and do a lot of because one of the other things that happens with React and these kind of things is basically you have to bring in a lot of baggage of these small npm packages, which are kind of an overkill sometimes. I think like if you can have a more cohesive kind of a ecosystem in terms of packages, and basically the packages could be more closely bundled together, so that like you don't have to bring in like ton of packages. Not to mention that like it's not just about the packages, it's also about the dependencies, right? So the reason what happens, like you have a dependency graph of your packages. So let's say package A, you have like two packages in your application, package A and package B, and then you have a third package which both of these packages use. They have a like transitive dependency, I think that's what it's called. I don't remember the specific name, but you have like this kind of dependency which is used by both of these packages, package C, let's say. And if the package C version goes out of sync between these two, then you are in a big trouble, right? So then sometimes you have like the package B moved on to like a breaking change in this version. Now you have no way of like fixing this issue. This is like a very what do you call it, the only way for you to remain on the lower version of package B, so that like you don't upgrade, otherwise it's gonna be a big problem. So this is like these are some of the things which are quite a little bit what do you call it, I found them to be like a little bit challenging, and they kind of stop you from being super productive. If we can just like make bigger packages with like more cohesive kind of functionality, that would be helpful. But anyways, like at the end of the day, it's all community driven, so it's really difficult to bring like organization in this kind of chaos, so it's not a problem. Only if like yeah, it could be a little bit faster. That's the only thing that I don't like about npm. I think there was like there was a gif created by some, or like some sort of a I think npm wait animation. I think like somebody created some sort of a loading animation in npm, which basically just gives you I think it's a package. I don't remember, but like there was while you are waiting, it started to play a GIF in your console. That way, like you can just watch it and be a little bit relieved from the torture that you have to bear when you are just waiting for it to install everything. Cool. So basically, I have I wasn't looking at the chat. So we have a couple of new members. GitHub is a must for to learn for all computer science students, right? Yes, I mean, if you are someone who's willing or who's getting into programming, then you need to know Git, right? So there are like 2-3 platforms. Like GitHub is primarily the go-to place for most of the open source development. There is something called GitLab as well, which used to be there, and yeah, I think the package is, yes, it's GIF CLI. That's correct. Hello Casey Hakka, salute man, how are you? So that's correct. I don't remember. It was like all these kind of things keep on happening in npm, and then basically I don't. I don't frequently visit the npm ecosystem because of like the diverse nature of my full-time job. What happens is like I'm a principal engineer with a software development company, or like an internet company, and basically it's a food delivery platform. So as a principal engineer, I have to like keep on moving from one place to another to just like work with people. And as a result of this, what happens is basically I have to use be on a very high level, just fix some problem and then just move on to something else. So right now it's kind of a place where like it's mostly just using my experience, and most of the times I just don't work on the same stuff for 2 consecutive weeks, so it's quite chaotic in terms of me. And that's the reason, like, I haven't worked on npm and these things for more than like a year now. But I'm quite excited to be here. Basically, last time when I worked on something for a long time was like my personal website, which I showed yesterday. But like, hopefully we will it's like it's one time investment in terms of setting up everything. You have to basically look at these, and then once you are done with that, then it's mostly taken care of. Now coming back to the question regarding GitHub, there are two or like you can Git is the basic basis of like all these platforms like GitLab and GitHub. Now Git is like an open source software which was created by the creator of Linux, which is Linus Torvalds, and he basically created it to basically build a version control system which basically keeps a track of your changes, so that you can like collaborate more effectively with a lot of different people. And because he was like, when he started on this when he put out this Linux kernel out to the public, he was expecting a lot of contributions from a lot of people in the open source community, and he opened it out, and eventually he started receiving those contributions. Cool. So it has already initialized the Git repository. All we need to do is basically now add that remote that we just created, this remote, in for the repository, and then it should be good. So what ended up happening was he created this Git software, and basically initially I'm not too familiar, like entirely familiar with the history entire history of Git, but it's I think like that's how it started. We have got Flashy Singh asking me how much storage do I have. Well, like I've got a 4 terabyte hard disk, which is like the normal the traditional hard disk. I have a 1 terabyte SSD, so that's the specifications that I have on my machine. Cool. Now if we go ahead and let me just first things first, ls, if I do an ls, so cd Gradingo community website, and let's open this in Visual Studio Code. So here we go. So now this is my Visual Studio Code, and it has created all these nice things. First things first, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come here, right? I'm gonna take this package lock, I think, and what I can do is basically I think I do have Yarn installed on my machine. Yarn is like a replacement of package manager, so the default npm package manager. So do I have Yarn? I don't have Yarn. So okay, I can say npm install g yarn. So I'll install Yarn globally. Cool. So now I can say Yarn. Okay. I think I remember what's the problem here. Oh, I see. I see what's the problem. My machine has the security policy where like it requires me to have PowerShell scripts digitally signed, and I think they recently shifted Yarn to be so I think I just remember. Okay. Well, just like I'm running Yarn only to generate this yarn.log file, so that like it can go ahead and generate that. Now I can delete this package log file. The reason for this one, the reason I want to do, I don't use basically npm is because npm is like not very good in terms of like managing those dependencies. So I just would want to not use npm and mostly use yarn. Okay, so while we are waiting for this, let's just ignore let's just inspect the package here. So yeah, it started off as like a types like a JavaScript application. So eventually we will delete all of this. We don't need any of this. We will just delete everything from the page. And what we will do is basically, where is my okay, here is the public. So the index, I'll just keep this guy as it is, and I'll just I'll just delete everything from the src folder, because we'll create all these components from scratch. And if you look here in this index.html, all we have is just like a static place where like React will start like take this this HTML component over, and it will start managing the DOM and all those kind of things from this place onwards. So that's the and we will do a kind of a a look at the different ways. We'll look first, like before I delete them, I will just show what basically how we can how the application looks by default, right? So I have this, and if I say ls yarn start, I guess that's we have the start command. Yep, yarn start. So if I say yarn start, what it's gonna do is basically it started a local development server on my local machine. It will take a bit of time. Yeah, so the application is here. This is like the default scaffolding that you see from React, npx create React app. So this is good enough. Like the only thing the only reason what we are interested in is basically it scaffolds all these things, and also basically we are interested in this package.json, which is like the helpful thing that we were interested in. Cool. Now that we have the application running, I can go ahead and delete. Yes, right. And if I say git status, okay. Wow, it's not showing any of these things. What's in the git ignore? I think it already committed when I scaffolded the repository. Probably. Yeah, it created a git commit, so I don't need to commit anything, just apart from just like adding this yarn.log and committing it in. So I'll just say git commit. Okay, now the magical thing needs to happen. What we need to do is basically we need to add this remote. So we will just come here, we will add the remote, and then push to this remote. Yep, it's already here. Yep, it created the application, it added a default thing. So we will not focus too much on like on a lot of things, a lot of cleanup. All we are going to do is now next we are just going to go ahead and delete everything from the src folder. And then basically we'll start adding stuff into it. So I'll just go ahead and come to here, and I'll just delete everything from here. Not needed. Delete. Yep. And then what we will do is basically we will just create a first CSS file, right? So the CSS files are like cascading style sheets. We will eventually set up SAS and those kind of things, but we'll just like for the sake of scaffolding and all that stuff, not to go too deep into it. So we'll just scaffold index.css. This is going to be our style sheet, And then the second thing that we are going to do scaffold is like a JS file. So we will just say scaffold a simple JS file. I think we did something, we miss out one part, which is basically, we need to set up the, so instead of like adding a TypeScript, we need to set up the JavaScript. Sorry, instead of using the JavaScript, we'll set up TypeScript here. So that's the next thing that we are going to do. So bear with me here. Let me just pull up the documentation in terms of setting up the TypeScript. Start report in new dev. Okay. Alright, so I'll have to basically bring it here and React TypeScript. Yep, this is a good demo. So what we'll do is we will also install the TypeScript and TS loader. So let's go ahead and do that. I'll just come back here, yarn install, I think yarn add -d. I can just remove this guy. Are there any chat messages? What is your favorite programming language and favorite OS? Well, I prefer Unix-like operating systems, specifically for the amount of control that they provide you, and it's really like a few things that I like. They are like secure by design. When I say secure by design, is because some of the parts, and I'm not saying like there are not bugs or those kind of things in those operating systems, but there are parts of the system which are kind of like restricted by the kernel itself. So basically there are 2 or 3 modes that the kernel boots into. Like you have the user mode, and then you have the protected mode. So for that's the reason, like if you look for most of the work that you need to do on a Unix like system, if you are doing something which requires elevated privileges, you have to do sudo and those kind of things. So that those are the reasons I like Unix like systems. And when it comes to programming language, I don't have like a favorite, although I prefer object oriented languages which are strongly typed, because they kind of give me a quick feedback loop. It's really difficult for you to shoot yourself in the foot, although basically you can write bad code in any language, as I've been saying. One of the things that I've generally seen is Brendan likes Python and Windows, right? So that's awesome. So yeah, so few things that I like I don't like about dynamic languages is you can easily shoot yourself in the field. For example, in JavaScript, when you are trying to add a number and a string, you get weird results. Sometimes you don't want to do it, but I mean, as I said, like if you are super careful, you don't make those mistakes. But basically, it's easy for people to make those mistakes and not realize what's wrong. So that's the reason, like I like something which is object oriented and like strongly typed, so that you don't have the issues involved with the dynamic typing. Okay, so that's our it has already installed TypeScript. Let's go back to our Webpack here, right? So we have the installation. Now we'll modify it, the directory structure and configuration files. So what we did was basically we just created a simple folder, and now we are going to first add a tsconfig.json file. Now what is tsconfig? It's like these are the settings for the TypeScript compiler, and I'll just mostly copy and paste stuff from here. So that I don't type in a lot of stuff. And then we will also use Webpack config to basically create a configuration for the Webpack to load. So I'll just say webpack.config.js. Yes, this is it. So I've copied this. Awesome. So it will direct the Webpack to enter through index.ts and load all the ts and tsx files through ts loader and output a bundle.js from here. Okay, there was some sort of a notification. What was that notification? Just a moment. Was it on my office? Hopefully. Hey, sent you an email about inquiring a website. Can you check it out? Okay, I think like that's the notification that was coming. Sure, Dejan, I'll take a look and I will get back to you on the email. Thank you so much for sending the email, man. Yeah, so now we have this is like so Webpack is a bundler, right? What it does is basically it takes all these different files, and because most of the like all the browsers they don't run TypeScript, they run JavaScript. So the TypeScript code has to be converted into JavaScript code, and that's what these settings are telling it, right? So what we are doing is basically we are saying that whatever module we have, like this is like the lowest support, and the target that we need is basically ES5 version of JavaScript. So like we take the TypeScript code and transpile. It's not called compilation, although some people who are like mostly JavaScript programmers tend to call the things that happens specifically, like for example they tend to call it compiler. It's like a transpiler because well, you are just converting from one source into like some other source. It's like well, I might be wrong in this. I'm not like I have this is just my my opinion, but I think like it's just transpiling one type of source code into another one. Although there are like source to source compilers, that's a very valid case, and from that perspective it could be a compiler. But anyways, so what these settings are doing is basically it says what is the output directory where we are supposed to support output the JavaScript, and basically this guy it stops us from using the dynamic typing features of JavaScript, which means that don't allow any or those kind of things, like try or like not allow, but don't infer anything as any, just just try to require a strong type for each thing. Then the module, what is the the modules that we're going to use, and what is the output JavaScript code that we are going to spit out, right? So these are the versions of JavaScript, and then basically what to do with the JSX files. So it asks them like just use React for those, and whether we want to allow JavaScript or not. Now from this, basically this is our Webpack configuration file. It's just like what's the entry point of the application. So this is going to be the entry point. What are the module rules? It says like for TSX files use this TS loader and basically exclude these node modules. And what are the rules for which file types should it load for this particular thing. So it says use these file types are going to be used, and what's the output file name that it should spit out. So it will spit out one big, eventually like later on we will configure bundling. So what bundling means is basically it will divide these bundles or this code into like smaller chunks, so that they are like loaded more efficiently by the browser, because then browser can make parallel requests to load each file and basically load the entire site faster. We will do it, like we will set it up later on. So that's our basic setup now. Now that we have set up the TypeScript and Webpack configuration, what we will do is basically we will go into we will just simply we'll simply do a simple we will create a simple component here. it's just like, taking this component and putting it into like our first index file. We will eventually like evolve this into more sophisticated things. So basically I'll just say index.ts. Sorry, so this is my TypeScript, and what it'll do is basically, why is it complaining? Okay, it's complaining because it has a plus sign in the beginning, which is not a good thing. We don't have Lodash installed, so we would need to install Lodash. I think this package is not installed. But why are we doing? Why are we okay. Let's see. Yarn add the Lodash. Probably there are no typings from this guy. That could be one reason. To make imports do this by default and keep import syntax in TypeScript. True and is true in your only for your information. I think, let's see. Source maps, loader, DevTools, source map, third-party libraries, importing other assets. Getting started, right? Okay. We missed this part, so that's the reason. We are CLI Webpack demo index.js. By the way, what's the file that we are spitting out here in our Webpack? Sorry, let me just rename this. It's going to be Webpack config.js. So we haven't installed the Webpack yet, and we haven't even installed the Webpack CLI as well. We will need to add these packages as well. So we'll just say yarn add, and these are also dev dependencies. So there is something in basically Webpack which is known as like or is specifically in Node ecosystem or NPM, which is like you can have two kind of dependencies. One are like your dev dependencies, and the other one are your production dependencies. So the difference between your dev dependencies is like you put all your tools and those kind of things in your dev dependencies. So if you go to the package.json, you will find there are like we have got dependencies here, dev dependencies. So all these are like dev dependencies. I think Lodash can be a production dependency. Let's see. Although we don't need any of this, so we can just come back here and just put it here like this, right? Okay. So this will put the Lodash in the production dependencies, not in the dev. You can just simply copy this entire part from here and replace this with the I know we are going to replace this eventually with the React part. We don't need to do anything there. Test HTML. I forgot what I did. Like, let me just do one thing. Let me go back and try to remember. Yeah, thank you, thank you, Decky, for the misspelling. I realized and I looked at it and I fixed it. Okay, so where is my C drive data? Code samples, OSS. Where did I create this? Code, Gradingo, is the development. Here. I don't remember where was my code for my personal website. Okay, here it is. So I have this this thing already was created and set up, so I'll just go ahead and quickly copy and paste stuff from here. One of the reasons that's one of the downsides of not working for a long time with these tools is you tend to forget the conventions. Okay, so I have the Webpack config. Wow, this is like a big thing, but no worries. We will just work on this. We will first things first. I'll go to my package.json. I have my first. I can just say. I'll just first eject this from here. Yarn eject. What is this? Let's see. Yeah, it says you don't need to eject from here, and let's see what does it do. It's been quite some time that I've been away from this one. Babel 7 SAS and more. Yeah, this is nice. While dependency, it can be challenging to compile for test container. Has been Webpack. We did the create React app. Let's see what's the package.json React scripts. When was this? This was this is 2 years and it's still not doing this by default. Okay, I will eject. Anyways, you guys haven't been able to I'll just delete them from here. Git add It's still going to complain. Now let's run the eject thingy. Yes. Okay, it's gonna do this again. It has changed quite a bit, man. Like it's totally a different thing altogether now. Wow. Okay. I think I think I'll have to live with this and basically start with the get cd cd scripts. What is the start guy going to do? Okay, it starts the dev server and all this stuff. Okay, so I'll just say node start.cs. Wow. What did it do here? Okay, it did it like this. Cool. I don't need to go into the scripts myself, so I can just say yarn start. Yeah. Import traverse TypeScript error, and this guy could not find Babel types or it's gone. Okay, I think I need to do a yarn install first, so I can just say yarn install. It's already up to date. That's one of the reasons, like I'm not such a big fan of You have to keep googling stuff. Yarn this version, find XYZ. I see. So I'll have to do a yarn install again. Yes. It's gonna take some time. What happened? Probably I should have deleted it from here. So it deleted them. Okay, fine. Now I think I can come here and do a yarn install again. In the meantime, are there any messages on the chat? Let me just take a look. Okay. Wow, this time it was faster. Okay, you know what? Rather than wasting all this time here, I will do something simple. I will go ahead and actually delete all of it. And come back to my because this is already like it has everything set up, so I'll come back to my package.json. First things first, I'll just add this one. Which is my git ignore. That's one thing. The second thing that I would like to do is basically copy my Babel RC. And I'll just explain like why we are doing this in a bit once I have finished this. But the reason is like this is one of the things, like if you find that you are struggling with it, don't waste your time. It's not needed. Can just go ahead and package. And just say here, I can come back here, yarn init. Yes, version 1.0 description, the Gradingo community site. We'll just say So it generated my package.json, which is here. And what I'll do is basically now from here I'll just install all these things which are going to be my dev dependencies, and just copy and paste them here. So in fact I'll copy this entire thingy from here to here. And the reason why I want to do this is because I want to make sure we might remove some of them, but hopefully this is like okay. These are going to be my scripts. Now what the scripts are like, they are like, these are the things that run when we do a yarn start and those things. So when you say yarn start, this is what yarn will take and run. And then this is my dependencies for you can ignore, like this is like a helper script that I created for like deploying all of this stuff into the CloudFront, and basically setting up the AWS for doing this. So I just wrote it to quickly be able to basically deploy this. But we will not focus on this part. We will primarily focus on our like index and these things. We will just quickly try to scaffold something really quick so that it just works. While it's loading, let me just create my src folder. So src, this is going to be the source code folder. In the src, I'm just going to go ahead and create this HTML page, index.html. I think I don't need, I can just simply put it in the src itself, in the root of the src, index.html. We will remove all of this from here. This is Google Tag Manager stuff. We don't need it here. We don't need this site as well. We will add the Google Analytics later on, but this is not needed right now. OG URL, we will remove all of this as well. It's not needed. Yeah, we can just remove all of this, not needed. We can remove this ads by Google as well, not needed. We can remove the scripts from here as well, not needed. Style sheet, this is like this is something called semantic UI. Semantic UI is like let me just show you here. I think like let's open this guy. So semantic UI is like a component framework. UI React. Right, so this is like a nice set of like pre-built components. You can use them and you can style them as you wish. So this like these are like some of the pre-built components that you can use. For example, this. So this offers you like you don't have to build this and then style. You can use Bootstrap as well if you want, but I found like it to be more declarative and more in line with the React stuff. So this did install my packages. Now I will come back here and go to my index.tsx and I will come back to this guy. I'll add a index.tsx, right? Just do this like this, and there is like, if you go to the components, there is already an app component here, right? So the way I set this up is basically each component also has its corresponding style sheet with it. Like this is SAS. So this is nice. Like I was being a little bit lazy, but I found that this is going to be nice. That I'm able to basically I'll be able to take the SAS components and then use them as it is. Like, so I think this is quite nice. Although a few things that I would change, so I'll just create a simple app component here, and it will just be like a so I will first of all, let me just go ahead and create a new folder, add a folder here, and I'll just call it components, right? And then add a folder app, and then add a file app.tsx. Perfect. Now from the app, I think we will build all of this these sections, but I will just simply start like I'll just simply export something from here. This will export a component as a component, and what I can do is basically I can just say import star as React from. Perfect. So this component is coming from the React framework, and that's the reason like you have this. And from here what we'll do is we'll just I'll explain what the render method as well, like once I just fill in this code, and I'll just say return h1 hello. So this is my application, which is this, and then basically I can just say export. I think I'm exporting default here. Yeah, export default app. It can matter if you are the difference between app and export like export default can matter a little bit, but it's not super urgent. So we have got this app.tsx, I have got index.tsx, and what it does is basically it says like whatever you have in the get element by id root, just replace the app component with that. So just that's like if you look at our this guy, we already have the root element. So the app component, React will start putting the app component inside this guy. That's what it says essentially on a very high level. Okay, that's that. We already have, let's go back and do this here. I'll copy this in and paste it into the tsconfig. .json. It's really difficult to remember all these file extensions. Yep. Format selection. Okay. This does that. What is it complaining about? Okay. Let's see. We might be like there might be certain things which might have changed, although I don't think so, but still, hopefully. Format document. No. Okay. Webpack config. This is like really big and ugly thing. We will have to bring it like a little bit one by one. Let's see. So I'll just say webpack dot config dot js. We have this. So what we are doing is we are taking the HTML Webpack plugin, which is like a plugin for Webpack. We have the mini CSS extract plugin, which what it does is basically it takes the the CSS and extracts it and basically makes it a part of the bundle. So let's do these two things we need, because we are going to have style sheets as a part of like bundling. So we do need these plugins. We do need Webpack and path. So these are like different, like Webpack is a Webpack module, right? And we have the path. Path is like a node module, which basically helps you in working with the file system. Then we have this copy plugin, and then the base path. So this guy says like whatever the root directory is, that's the base path for everything. And what we can say here is basically we will say module exports. What are we exporting from here? So let's see. So these are going to be our exports here. First, take the base path and join it with src, and that's where we are going to look for our code. So this is what it says here. Format document, take the base path, whatever is in the src, add, concatenate them together. That's our context from where the code is to be loaded. Then these are the extensions for which this particular module will work, and these are the entry points for the application. So let's see. The reason you see all these different entry points here is because we are generating like so many bundles for each individual component. We are generating a different bundle. So what we will do is basically we'll just copy this here and come here and paste it like this. So this is our entry point. We will remove all of this, but for now I'll just I'll just keep app and remove everything else from here, and we will just keep the polyfills. So what are polyfills? Polyfills are like JavaScript compatibility packs. So because we are using this version of JavaScript, which is ES6, right? So we are saying that okay, target is going to be ES6. So not all browsers support ES6, right? Some of the features that are present in our code are not supported by all the browsers. So what polyfills do is basically they are just a way of like supporting backward compatibility with the browsers which don't support that. So these polyfills like give you some sort of a let me just see. White shadow walks is now following. Thank you so much for the follow. Really appreciate it, man. Okay, there was a question. I am sorry guys, I was not looking at the chat. Let me just go back here. So there was a question on the chat which was basically from Neil Ducado. Do you use functional components? Yes, basically functional components are a good thing to use. The code that I'm following right now, like it's quite a bit old code, and at that point in time functional components like were around, but they were like not super helpful in terms of managing the state and those kind of things. There was like a few things which you could not do at that point in time using functional components, but now React has like went, and I've as I said, like I've not been able to keep up with the React ecosystem for more than a year now. So a lot of things have moved forward. So but yeah, we'll basically learn together to see what has changed and like what are the new things which are there in the React. But yeah, functional components are good if you if you want to like just have very small components and you don't want to have all these life cycle methods. Although I'm not sure whether they start supporting those life cycle methods like component will render, component has rendered, and those things. I don't know whether they are like available in functional components or not. That's the reason, like for if you want to have that kind of control, you might want to use the class based components. Okay, now let's see. This is like this part defines the output of all these files, right? So it takes those files and it defines the output of these guys. So if I come back to my webpack config.js here, this is my entry, and then if I say this is my output, format document. What's this shortcut? Format document, control or shift alt F. Okay, I'll remember this. Shift alt F. So these are the optimizations. We don't need any optimizations. We'll add them later on, and then we will add a dev server, which will basically just start a application on the dev. Cool. So we will add one. Let's see, let me just collapse. It becomes really difficult. Entry, output, optimizations, and then the dev server. Perfect. So from output we will just say dev server. I think it was alt shift F. Yep. Module, we don't need this. CSS not yet needed. Plugins, we will need these plugins for sure. I think let's start with the HTML Webpack plugin, and then we will add more stuff into it. So let's come back here. And what we need to do is basically we need to generate HTML. Perfect. Right, so it will take our index.html and then it will generate the template. Hash true favorite icon. Do we have like a fav icon here? What's the fav icon? Like, yeah, this is like me looking very small. So for the timing, I'll just use this one, and then we'll build a community icon for ourselves. And by the way, guys, if someone from you is interested, like, or is like talented in graphics design, I can use all the help in terms of like coming up with the graphics and those things. So please feel free to like reach out or like let me know your intent, or if you are interested in contributing to this as well, please put your intent. This is going to be the community site for our community, right? So it's going to be like I don't want to be in a position where like I'm just I'm just like doing all this all by myself. I want to have people involved, and that would be a very good way for me to basically even like for us to be able to like work together and learn together, right? So that's the kind of goal that I think, and I had this kind of thing for a long time in my mind, where I wanted to build or like have such a community where like people are continuously learning from each other, and it's like more of a crowd learning kind of a platform where like people just learn, right? So like there could be different people who are experts in different areas. So I'll just paste it here in my, so I'll have the favorite icon, which basically it will just take this. I think it's already defined in my index dot as well. I think I don't need it's all going to take that, and not needed. It's just like this guy is only for copying these static files to the output, so it's not needed. And I think this is also something that we might need. We'll just go here and add it to the Webpack config. Cool. So we have defined most of it. We have the index.tsx, we have index.html, we created a app component, right? Everything should be working. Now if I go ahead and do first things first, let's see what's my script to build. I'll just say yarn start. Let's use this one to start. Why is it not currently? You may need an appropriate loader to handle this type of file. Currently no loaders are configured to process this file. Okay, what's it that we are missing? HTML, Webpack plugin. Oh, we don't have a TypeScript loader. We don't have a TypeScript loader. Okay, got it. I think I like when I skipped a lot of part, I skipped a lot of things as well. So you see here, this guy is missing the we don't have a dev server here. Dev server, we already did the dev server. Let's see what's it. We have the dev server, but in the module we don't have anything, right? So we don't have anything in the module. Let's add the module. What all modules do we need? Okay, rules. Perfect. So these rules are like the rules on which Webpack works, and it's an array of like different objects. So this is what it says. It's going to look for these TS and TSX files, and it's going to exclude node modules, and it's going to use this loader. Perfect. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. So what we need to do is just copy this this entire thing from here, from the place, and just add this object here, and I'll just say format this, hopefully. Yeah. Yes. Awesome. So we have got this guy loaded. The only problem is we don't see our inspect. What are the errors in our could not load content for Webpack node module sock client 404 not found. Because we do not have the map, source maps. Got it. So let's come back here. Test output optimizations. This is CSS. Let's not even rely on this guy. Let's come back here. Okay, this is also could not load content for what is this? Like, I have never seen this issue. Failed to load manifest.json. We don't have. Okay, I think it's because of my index.html, but that should not have created any issues. But still, it's not a problem. It's not a problem. I can just remove this from here. So that should fix one of the issues. Root is correct. It should have added that. So the component is root. What's my app.tsx? Index.tsx is index. I don't see a difference here. Why did it not load? Let's see, I think I missed to import the files, or it should have imported those files automatically, but I will still double check from this guy. Okay. Let's look into my dist, by the way, just to see what's what did it generate in the build? Not this one, but this one. It did not even do a so it did generate all this stuff. If I just start this guy in a local server, there are no errors in the console for sure, which is good. Tools. I do have this. Why is it not showing it to me? Should show it to me. Components. What did I miss? I must be missing something stupid. No, it cannot be this small. It's all of this app.tsx. Okay. What happened? I just don't understand. Let's see. You need JavaScript to run this app, which is okay if you don't have JavaScript installed. Root. What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? Okay, it puts it inside the dist, which is correct. Okay, so I think I understand what's the problem. I wasn't doing anything wrong. There was nothing wrong here. So what happened is that it's still not thinking of it as a React application for some reason. Probably I removed too much stuff from the index.html. Let's see, what did I might have removed something from the index.html, which would have created this. This is done. This is like secret data layer, theme, viewport, OG URL keywords. Yeah, what did I remove? No, this is perfectly fine. This is perfectly fine. Go to my app.tsx. I think the version of React that I am using is why is it behaving like this for me? If I go to my app component, it's been quite some time, guys. Like I haven't written any React code for more than a year now, so I'm a little bit rusty on the edges. Please bear with me while I try to figure out what's causing this issue. Although I don't think that I'm required to do this, but let's see. Okay, this could be a bummer, and if it's that, I could be doing something super weird here. No, I don't even get a compiler error anywhere, man. Like, that's so frustrating. The compiler is not freaking out about it. I don't understand what's happening. Wow. So it's not using this for sure. Why is it like complaining about that in that situation? Not getting any errors. Okay, let's do one thing. Okay, I'll have to just see why this is not working. So I will go ahead and it's just gonna, where is the page coming from? React page loading. Okay, that takes care of the page part. Then I've got the so the page is done. Got it. First things first, what I need to do is I need to come here and I'll just start off with a div, and now I can use a page component. So not here. I can just copy this entire thingy from here. We will remove this page, it's not needed. What we are interested in actually is basically okay, it's not even needed. Okay, remove this from here as well, and I'm going to import router. Not needed. And exact path. This will match anything that's on this path, and basically I'll remove all of these from here, remove the footer as well, and let's add another component. We will call this guy as the home, and then I'll just call it home.tsx. Right. What's the syntax of functional component? Let me just Google it. React functional component. Where are you? Come on, not here. Here it is. Let's see. This should be good enough. And then I can say export. Instead of calling it like a welcome, all I can do is like I'll call it home. Export default home. So this is my home function. Now I can just simply say import home from this one. Import home from because it's a default export. I think I can just get rid of this one and copy this and paste it here. React refers to UMD, but the current file is a module. Consider adding an import instead. Okay, this is what it's needing here. Compiled successfully, and I'll just come back here to do one more thing, which is going to be in my app. I don't need any props here, so I'll just say remove this props, and I'll call it hello visitor. We will use more like a stateful kind of a thing later on. Oh, right. What's happening? Not even getting any compiler errors. It's a bummer. What's happening? What's happening to my... takes the index.html. I must have missed one crucial part of the step, which I don't understand which is the crucial part. Guys, do you have anything that you think that I might be missing? I can use some help here. If you think like I missed out on any part. So many windows, yeah, so many windows, man. What could be the thing that I might be missing? What I'm going to do is basically I'm going to take a short 5 minutes break, and after the break we'll try to continue and fix this issue. Hopefully we'll be able to fix this issue by then, and hope to see you in like next 5 minutes. Let me All right, so I'm back. Let's see what's going on here, right? Just to get an idea, we are trying to fix the issue into our application, but the current file is a module. Consider adding an import instead. Compiling, compiled successfully. First things first, why is it not showing me the React Dev tools in my browser? Is something that I'm trying to understand. It should show me the index, not HTML. So it looks like a lot of issues are okay. Let me just React tools. So Daki is saying, are you missing some sort of render method, or maybe the app element needs to be on the HTML page? Unlikely. See, I'll explain what's the rationale here, and you might be like, okay, so the thing is, the app component is just like the top level component. I mean, it doesn't have to be like inside the it's like it just gets transpiled, and I see the index is the one which is like a top level component, right? What it does is basically we ask the React DOM to basically render this guy into the document, get element by ID root, and basically replace everything. That's what like my hypothesis, and this is how it's actually working for this guy as well. If I say yarn install and I start to like, what was the so this exact same thing works here, unless there is a problem in one of my machine setups, because earlier I built this application on my MacBook. Now I'm using a Windows machine, so there could be something like horribly wrong with my environment here. I'm not sure, and I would be like interested in finding this out, but let's see how it goes. one of my packages might be broken. That could be one of the issues. I see. I did not get this error when I was trying to do this. Node gip. Node sass. Oh man, let's see. So where are my package.json? So these are my dev dependencies. These are my dependencies. I did not get any error when I was doing this on my other machine. Not found Python 2. Why is it asking for Python? Okay, we'll have to like add a yarn, a clean script into this thing. Hopefully I do have a clean script. What are the scripts in my packages? Okay, I don't have a clean script. No worries, no worries, no worries. I can just get rid of my, I can just try to install again. The node SAS is failing. I think I might have to install, but this is like, this is so weird. Node SAS. This is like 2017. That's not going to. I do have the SAS light and everything. They installed earlier for me. Why did it? Let's see. Let's do. If it still fails, then there is a problem. There is a question on the chat window. Hey buddy, how have things been since the little Reddit raid? Hey man, they were nice, man. It's like it's a little bit quiet today, but it's okay, not a big deal. But yeah, I mean that day it was crazy. Things have been going really nice. Thanks for asking. But like today it's been a little bit quiet. Probably I'm like focusing too much into the code and not talking too much. And I'm also like trying to catch up with the Node.js or like the front end after a long time. So it's a little bit rusty start, but I hope it will be good soon once I've just finished once I finish like wrapping this up. So it does not complain about anything here. Then why did it complain about this guy here? So I did that. Why is it complaining about here? I have the exact same dependencies in both the places. And just delete this one. Start a new one. yarn install. Okay. Still complains about this. Okay. I think I'll have to install this Windows build tools. Okay, so there is the problem. So Node version 12 needs 4.12 dot plus of the Node SAS. And what's the Node version that I have? Node dash dash version. Okay. And what's the Node SAS version that I have? Node SAS 4.11. Let me look into my yarn.lock. There is no yarn lock here. 4.12 plus. Okay. Did that, and if I do a yarn start now, let's see. Yeah, so this thing works perfectly fine. I'm not able to understand what's the difference here and here. What is one thing that I'm not doing properly? Let's ignore this guy. Babel RC, package, ts config, webpack config. Okay, we already used Webpack mini extract CSS plugin. These are just simply copy files. They just take the file from here. Okay, to make it a little bit more simpler, Control V, and I'm going to remove from my package.json, I'm going to remove node SAS, yarn add developer dependency, cool. Yeah, man. Like it's been a while since I've been like been around here, and it's like it's kind of like going okay for me after that particular day. Although like today I'm trying to thank you Imad for the EduMeet, man. Flashy, it's I'm happy that you are enjoying this, but I'm actually not, because I'm trying to make it work. And it's like it's been such a long time that I've written any like node and the code with TypeScript and Frontend, that I have almost like forgotten all the tricks of the trade. No worries. But this also like makes one point clear, that like uh, once you stop doing something for a long time, you just don't remember it. So yarn add dev dependencies. I would want to add node sass. So it added the latest version of node sass. And then I think it wasn't the reason, but I cannot be sure, because so far nothing has been working. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to take my entire Webpack and I'm going to replace this with the new Webpack. Probably I might have changed something here and there, some minor mistake, and it would have basically taken up everything out of it. So I have my app. I see. I got the issue. I think I found the issue. So, okay, because I was doing such a different thing there. I was generating a separate one for each of them. So I should have taken the home guy as well. And in my app.tsx, I have the app. Perfect. So if I come back here, now it's complaining about React. Okay, no worries. I'll do a yarn install again. Everything is up to date. It says app. Have that. Why is it complaining? Probably I just deleted the packages folder, that's why. Okay, what I was doing, yeah, I was looking at my app. So here I've got to have the home.tsx, which is the home page, and I'll call it home, right? And I'll just remove everything from here. I have index, I have Babel, polyfill, which is needed, home, index, app, and all this. I think I can just do a yarn start now. Perfect. What I need to do is stop this other guy. And start it again. Right. So it's now not able to locate these files, which I'll just copy over from the other project, simply for the sake of like saving time. So I will copy the src, manifest, robots, and sitemap. Copy them, and we will replace all of these values from here, but for the sake of saving some time today, we'll just paste them here. src components. Perfect. So it does. Control C, yarn start. Perfect. It's going to complain. Okay, that's good. So I'll just say home.tsx and I'll control C again. It compiled successfully. Awesome. So guys, when I was doing something, copying pasting, I missed one of the parts. Probably I don't know which one. That's super important as well for me to find out what did I miss when I was doing this. But just to say, like this guy, now if I change this in my component, I will be able to see this update. Right, so I'll go to my components, and if I say app.tsx or like home.tsx, I'll say low noise or girls. So there's like this is like working. It automatically reloads because I'm using a hot reload from the Webpack. Now the question is, what did I miss, or what did I miss out from here? My hypothesis is optimization. Okay, probably I was not using this split chunks, and I was still defining these entry points separately. That's what my hypothesis is. And it also not just does that, it also defines, okay, yeah, it wasn't even packaging these node modules and all that stuff. Let's see if I come back here now and if I inspect. There should be no compiler warnings. Yes, there are none. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's just do like let's add one more component, which is going to be our. So as we discussed earlier, right? What we will do is basically we will create this this application as a community website for the Gradingo community here on Twitch, and the goal would be to basically. First, we'll start with something where like we will basically, you can go to this this website to see the schedule, and you can also request like topics, what topics you would like me to stream about, and those. Although like there are like a lot of such community platforms which you can just take out of the shelf and then just deploy on a server. But I want to take like a different approach where like because this is such a a basic community centered purely around coding. Why like I don't feel that it would be very right for us to go ahead and use some off the shelf software. So what we are going to do is basically we are going to go ahead and build this ourselves from scratch for ourselves, and basically we will just then add stuff to it. So now that we have got it running, so most of the basic scaffolding is done. Now what we can do is just take this code as it is, and then basically take the dist folder and like put it in AWS S3 bucket and configure the CloudFront distribution, and it'll just start working, right? All that needs to be done is now make it look beautiful. Right now it looks, well, there's nothing to look in this one. It's just mostly empty, right? So there is nothing in this. Now we will provide structure to it. So what we will do is basically just to say, like we had the first thing that or first feature that we would want to build is like there will be a home page. Obviously we will fill that home page. The second thing that we will have is a schedule page, right? So you will just go to the schedule page and just see what's the schedule for upcoming streams, or what's the schedule on which we come online. So for us to be able to do that, what we need is we need to have a page dedicated for the schedule. So what we will do is basically we will create a new component. We will call it, okay, come on, not this guy. We will create a folder inside the components and call it schedule, and add a schedule.tsx .tsx. So today it's like mostly around scaffolding the project, getting it up and running, and then we will go into a fast development mode, which will basically we will start like making it super neat and clean, and like in terms of building the features. By the way, like if you guys think like there should be some feature that we should be building, please feel free to suggest. Okay, so I will just I'll just like put I'll just create these placeholder components, and then we'll make them beautiful as always, right? So we will just create these placeholder components for now. What we are going to do is let's just even do one more thing here. I will go to my home, and this is going to click home page, right? So that's my home page. This is my schedule page. We'll call it schedule. Export the function schedule. And as we add things like Redux for state management, we will convert these functions from like we can still keep these functional components, because we can use Redux for state management. We'll gradually make it complex, not from the beginning. We'll start with something simple, then we will gradually make it complex. So we have schedule, and now I can come to my app, which is like the main thing which defines my application. So if I come here and I say slash where is my code on the other code here? Come to my app. I think like I'm just trying to remember what was the conventions that we have, just so that I remember. If I come here, and what's the convention of the providing the paths. So what I mean is this guy, right? So this is the path that you provide. So yeah, it's slash and the name of the path. So it's going to be slash schedule, right? So this is going to be schedule, and I'm gonna say schedule. Yeah, so it imported the function. Perfect. It compiled. So now if I go to slash schedule page, perfect, and I can remove this from my index, which is like which was this guy, app.tsx here. No, not here, sorry, it was in index, my bad. Yeah, I can remove this. Yeah, so the schedule page is there. I can go back to the home page, which is the home page. So we have got two, one is the home, the other one is schedule. One other page that I was thinking of is basically suggestions, or like, yeah, let's see what should be the hey it's like I think your username is like, we have a message from Free Flow. I think he wants to ask me, like he followed me a few days ago when he saw the live thing, and he was like, who the fuck is this? Then I clicked and hello, heard about you, cool, what are you doing, first time on your stream. Well man, I'm building after like a couple of days ago I had a nice exposure on Reddit. There is this nice guy called Brendan, who's not right now in the stream, but he was there earlier. So he posted it on Reddit, and then I was like, earlier I was not too serious about it. I was just okay. I mean, I was casually just building something and streaming it. But then I saw like a lot of people are interested in live streaming of code, because most of the times I saw that like people are interested in like Twitch being a gaming platform. People just like game stuff, and I thought like probably I'll just stream it. If somebody finds it useful, they can use it. But then after that, like I was so amazed to see like people discussing around these things. So I thought probably like I should start streaming about the code and all that stuff. So now I'm building a community website for. I plan to expand this this gig into a full blown community, when like it would be kind of a community learning platform, or like experience for people. What we can do is basically learn as we build something, right? So this is the kind of thing that I'm trying to do here. So I'm trying to basically build something from scratch, and like build this community site for the community, with the community, kind of like. So it's like this is something that I thought would be a very good or maybe like it could even be a useful and learning experience for people. I see that you said like your father used to work for Microsoft, and he did some work on Half-Life 2. Yeah, the Valve Steam game. Yep, I know. Looking through some of the C++ book he owns, this stuff is out of my league. No worries, man. That's not a problem. I think thanks for coming along, and it's not difficult. That's something that I would like to say for sure. Like it's not difficult. It's just like in the beginning it could be a little bit overwhelming, but uh, when you start like understanding the concepts, it's like just maybe a few weeks here and there, and then you start getting really comfortable with all of this. There are a few things that might be a little bit especially right now in the current age. Initially, when like for example, when your father would have started, he would have like only like a dozen of programming languages, which was really simple to start. But today it's like a clusterfuck of programming languages, and it's not very like it for someone who's just planning on starting off. It might be like a overwhelming kind of experience. Cool. We have the home, the schedule. The third component that I was building, or like that I was adding, was basically requests. Right. So this will be a place where people will request stuff for streaming. So let's just add one thing: request.tsx. And if I go to my Webpack config here, yeah, okay, I'm not sure whether I'm required to add the component for this one, but let's see. Because what the way Webpack works is basically it automatically takes the dependencies, and once you define an entry point, it automatically should build all the things which are imported in this particular app tsx. It should bundle them in, but I'm not sure. I don't remember very specifically, so I could be wrong there. Yeah, man. Like yeah, it's like I so there are like these people who have built, like we are standing on the shoulder of these giants, right? Who used to like write initial programs or code in assembly, and even before that, like it was just purely binary. Yeah, flashy. I think like it was a long time ago, and I was just like came across Udemy, and I thought like it's a good platform. Just why not just keep accumulating stuff. You type fast. Do you know how fast? No, man, I don't type very fast. I'm quite slow in terms of typing. I've seen like people who type very fast. I think like my speed would be somewhere around like maybe 15 to 20 words per minute. I don't know. I've never measured it. I have no idea how fast or like how slow is it. But I've seen people type faster. That's for sure. Okay. We were adding a component here for requests, which is here, and I'll just copy and paste from my schedule and just replace the name. Right now we are just filling the placeholders, nothing fancy. And let's call it request. So these are like, this page will host the the request from the community. Now if I go back to my app.tsx, which is here, I can import, and I'll show you a cool trick where like we will instead of doing this, we will define an index on the components page, which will export all the components, so that we don't have to keep on importing in each individual line. But for now it's okay. We will clean this code quite a bit. From requests, and then it's going to be request. Okay, and we will call it slash requests. Awesome. So it did that, and hopefully if I go to requests now, yep, it does. It does load the request. Only thing is basically I'll have to change it to request page. Yeah. So there's like this is something. So flashy things are like you get used to when all you do is type all day. You get faster and faster. Do you know how fast you type though? Used to be able to do 90 words per minute at one point. Now dropped to 70. Wow, that's really awesome, man. If you can type that fast. I'm average 120. Highest I've ever caught myself typing was 135 few times, and apparently we have typed 139 words per minute on one side. Wow, that's great, man. Like that's awesome. I mean, I have never reached to those kind of speeds. Although I never had the patience to practice in the first place. They're like, I see a lot of people who practice, and then basically they do. Even like when it comes to coding, you don't like keep on typing non-stop. You have to think, then you have to type, then you have to think. So it just like unless you practice separately, you can like you reach a certain level, but you don't get too fast. Yeah, I have had a PC my whole life, and I always loved typing and done so much typing things that bound to be up there. Yes, man. Like these are hobbies. Like I remember when I was a kid, like when I was in school. It was like a long time ago, even like when we used to have these 16-bit operating systems. There was a software called Typing Master. I think if I can remember that, Typing Master. Yeah, this guy, like it used to be even like even before the Windows version of this, there was a DOS version of this, if I remember correctly, or it was some other software, but I don't remember. But it was like a long time ago, and like there were kids in my class who used to be like crazy. They used to type. They used to have these bubbles, and this was like later on around Windows 95 or 98, I think, when it came out. They had these clouds of words or bubbles coming out of water, and yeah, it was nice. I still miss those days, man. Cool. So if do you have any tips for me, Free Flow, if you like, or Flashy, if you guys like, both of you, I see like your Flashy is around 70 words per minute, which I think still considered to be decent, like honestly. And if you are like typing 120, that's like crazy. So do you guys have any tips for me, like in terms of apart from like banging the keyboard for the whole day, that you guys think I can use? Go for accuracy. Anytime catch myself going for speed, I get slower. If I focus on accuracy, I get way faster. Okay. Wow, that's interesting. I see. Now I understand. Okay, the reason is because when you aim for speed and you make mistakes, then basically you have to backspace, and then basically that takes, yeah, yeah. I think that's an interesting thing. So also don't do the finger layout they teach you do. They never worked for me. Well, that's another thing, man. Like I also don't use the finger layout. I never use it. Like most of like times I use like 3 fingers on one hand and like maybe 4 on the other one. Like I never use. I use like all 5 fingers on this hand, this hand, but I don't use like all the fingers on this hand. I don't use this one, right? This is like this is with me. But yeah, that's a nice what do you call it, practice. But like I write code the whole day, and if I start like practicing the finger layout, well, that's like it's going to be horrible. So for this hand I use all my fingers. For this one I use like maybe 3 or 4. I never paid attention how many I use, but yeah. I type in school. My classmates brought to my attention that my left pinky is lays in on left side and my keyboard, and apparently it looks creepy. I never notice it anytime, but yeah, yeah. I mean, sometimes like if somebody is paying attention, especially like when, because you are so much engrossed in like typing and like getting stuff on the screen, you never pay attention to your hands, and that's the reason I don't know how many fingers I use on this hand. This one I know because I use spacebar with my thumb, but I don't know about my left hand. Cool. Okay, guys, I'll be so today we have made quite a nice progress. I think like we scaffolded the entire project. Tomorrow we are going to make it look beautiful, and the goal, as I said, would be to basically build this community website for ourselves. As we build it, we will just keep on adding features and pages to it, and hopefully like basically if somebody is interested in web development, they would be able to learn something from these streams as well. Tyler won. The popular streamer types with 2 fingers and he's really fast at typing. I don't understand. Yeah, man, that I don't know. Like how would you type with 2 fingers? Like this, like this? That would be hilarious, right? So it's just like I don't know. Like it could be that they are probably like more around like some you develop a virtual map of the keyboard in your head, and then basically you don't have to move your hands all the way. Like you can just I don't know how somebody might do that, but that must be really difficult to catch up. Yeah, I gotta do my laundry. Okay, man. See you sometime soon. Thank you so much for stopping by, man. Cool. Alright, so I'll also take like maybe I'll just commit everything, and then basically we can end the stream for today. Like we just scaffolded the basic structure of the repository, code, and all that stuff. So this is how I mean, although I cheated a little bit, I did not do it from scratch. I got lazy, and like I copied some of the Webpack config and those things, but I think like that's how you get a little bit productive. The goal here, like, or the key takeaway from the stream would be that, okay, what are the tools that you need to get started, right? So the first thing is like you need especially if you are doing something like this with the front end, you take you have to set up your package.json, which is defines what are the packages they are going to use. Then you have to define your compiler configuration for a Typescript, which is tsconfig, and then you define your Webpack config. Now all these like specifically this Webpack, it's a like very fast moving tool, so you have to constantly, like, even if you knew it all, there are like each version of Webpack has introduces something new, and then basically you have to anyways look into the documentation to refer. But like having said that, what we can do here is basically I can come back and basically tomorrow and start adding styles and making it beautiful. And once that's done, basically we'll start building the backend for this one. So now I'm just going to go ahead and commit all of this, and post it onto the like on GitHub, so that like people can go ahead and take a look. What's perfect. Okay, awesome. So now this is the URL which is for the repository, and I'll just also update this on the stream description, so that like it's also being updated like streamed on YouTube. So what that means is basically you can go ahead and read about the. Okay, where was this? Okay, I'll have to update the stream description, so I need to go to my channel on YouTube, probably this one. Where's okay, let me just close all this clutter from here. So close this one and come back here and go to. I will paste the link in the description of the live stream, so that like you can go ahead and read about it, like what are the things that we are going to do. So I will just copy and paste it into the description, and also copy the title. And paste also description. One thing is code repo. Where is my GitHub? This one. Perfect. Okay. So this like the link to the repository should be in the description, so if just in case like anybody wants to take a deeper look into it. Now that we have set up our repository more or less. One thing like I would like to take like another 5 or 10 minutes, or if you have any questions, or like if you think if you have any suggestion as well, that would be helpful, or if you have anything that you would like me to like talk about in the next stream, I can do that. So basically it would be fun if we can just go ahead and discuss any questions that you might have for me. So I'll be here for another couple of minutes, just in case anybody wants to ask anything, or like discuss any idea, or propose any suggestion, any feature into the community website. That's also welcome. Or if you are like if you are familiar with GitHub, what you can do is basically you can go here and you can file a new issue on GitHub, and then basically that would be helpful. We can do it that way. So if you have any suggestions or like any feature ideas, please feel free to post them here. I think now that basically I'm not getting any questions, so I think probably like I can say goodbye for today. And I plan on streaming this like during the weekdays. I plan on streaming this this community website, and on the weekends I plan on streaming the creation of EduMeet, the website that I originally started working on. So because that's like that's going to be, so I think like this is going to be helpful for a lot of people coming and watching on the stream, because they're planning on starting off with with the development. Some of them are like already some experienced developers who have worked with JavaScript or some other backend language, and they want to get started with React. And for me, like because I'm also picking it after a long time, it would be kind of a learning experience, and it would be more or less like build and learn as you go. So Decky wants, if you wanted to automate the deployment process, so when you commit and to get this automatically gets deployed to S3 bucket, how would you do it? That's a very good question. How would I do it? So there is something on GitHub which is called GitHub Actions, right? So you can automate a lot of stuff using here. What happens is basically you define a workflow file using the YAML, and then basically you check it inside your repository in a folder called .github. So here you create a folder called .github, and basically you define your workflows in that. Then you inside your .github folder you define workflows. When you define those workflows, each file that you define there is considered as a workflow, and in each workflow you can define certain steps, right? So just to give you an idea, right? And basically in those steps you can execute anything. You can execute shell scripts, you can execute JavaScript code, depending, like, because all of this is running in Docker containers. So one of the things that I had on my previous website is this tools, right? So deploy S3. So this is like a JavaScript. One of the things that I wanted to do was basically I wanted to also keep versions of my previous builds, right? So let's say before trying to push something new, if I found something was like wrong or something was not correct or I made a mistake, what I would do is basically I would also version my previous build. I will take down the previous build from the S3, store it, check it inside here. If you see here, there are versions of it, right? So, and then I'll build a new version. I'll push it there, and then basically I will store it into my my local copy as well. So that's the kind of flow, and basically I was doing it using the GitHub Actions. So as soon as I made a commit, and basically I generally tomorrow I'll create a new branch for my this one to fill in these features. And then basically as soon as I raise a pull request, I can run tests against that pull request, and once I merge that pull request into master, it can go ahead and automatically deploy it to S3 bucket. I hope I answered your question, Decky. This is like a free and cost effective way of doing it. Like, you don't have to do any CI CD and all that stuff. Okay, we have Casey Hakka. He's like, in a few weeks I'll go back to college. I'll be in my second year to get my diploma. But I'll suck in programming. We mostly study C++ right now, and a little bit of HTML, CSS, PHP, but I don't like it. I don't also like PHP myself. I hate PHP. Do you have any advice for people who want to improve? At the moment, I would like to specialize in cloud server, but of course I'll see that in my third year. C++ is a good language. It's a great language, given the fact that it's been like for almost 20 years now, 25 plus years that you have like this language. It's a good language. HTML and CSS, like you can just basically, HTML is like a layering thing, as flashy things I like mentioned. Basically it's used for building the websites, and every website, you cannot build a website without HTML, right? So you can learn HTML and CSS like just like there are tons of resources on internet to learn HTML and CSS, specifically HTML. CSS, there like you have to the CSS is more complicated for a couple of reasons. CSS is not universal, so different browsers have like different implementation of CSS, and that's the reason you have to have like crazy kind of things to have like compatibility in terms of CSS. But mostly when it comes to like the hardcore programming, I would say like if you are able to like focus on one language, it doesn't it could be C++. If you I found the C++, one of the downsides of C++ is that like it's not what do you call it, it's not beginner friendly. That's the way I would like to put it, because there is too much ceremony in the language. You have to basically make these crazy looking symbols, which like, for example, you have to do this like hyphen slash and then greater than to point to members, and which is like not really nice. I would like they could have simplified, but given the fact that it was written, like it was created a long time ago, and as languages evolve, they cannot drastically change themselves because they have to maintain backward compatibility. All that code that was written all those years ago still needs to work. So that's the reason basically you have to like working with languages like C++. They are great languages. I mean, I personally like the fact that like it's one of the languages which is still used today, and is the core of like most of the embedded systems and softwares that are written. But having said that, if you are like more into a job oriented, learn the basics of programming with C++. Then basically you can use a more modern language, maybe something like .NET, which is like C# or Java, or for that matter Python is also a great language. Although I like, one of the things that I don't like about Python is like it's a dynamically typed language, more or less. And on the performance side, Go is a good language if you are interested in Daki, or KC Hakka, if you are interested in basically in learning. Go is a good language, and it's written by it's created by the same guy who was responsible for creation of C, which was the predecessor of C++. So you can learn these languages if you are interested. But if it's a part of your curriculum, and if you are like required to study C++ as a part of your curriculum, then I would say like for you to be able to like to work on your grades and those things, I would recommend that you should like at least get a fair understanding of and every like, see, the programming concepts remain the same. It's just the syntax which differs across languages. So tomorrow if you let's say move out from C++ and you start writing code in Python or maybe PHP or whatever, right, the syntax will change. How you express, like how you write is you will have different keywords and like different way of writing loops and if statements, but everything else will remain the same. So that's what I say in terms of like choosing a language is not important. Understanding the concepts is important. Now coming over to your HTML and CSS, probably if you are interested in HTML and CSS, I would say if you want to do that. But I like, my understanding is that like you would like to specialize in cloud server. For that one, like it's like when you say cloud, cloud is just like too much of a overhyped term. It's like fancy servers with a different name. That's what they have these are just the same servers and all that stuff. They have just virtualized them and basically divided them into smaller units so that they can be shared by a lot of people. But even in any situation, you will have to like learn, like if you are interested in like server side of programming or like being a backend engineer, you will have to still basically be very strong in coding and programming. And basically it's fun, man. Like it's in the beginning you feel like that you are not so good, but eventually you become good. That's what I've seen. Okay, any more questions that anybody would like to ask before I drop off? Awesome. All right, folks, it's been quite late for me. It's like 2 a.m. here, and I have an office. I have my office tomorrow, so I'll now basically drop off from the stream and see you guys tomorrow. Hope to see you tomorrow. Cheers. Bye bye.